Hi YouTube, it's Tracy from Entrepreneur Girl, and today is our last video of 2015. It's video number 8 out of 8 in the Your Life 2016 series. Today is probably the most important video in that we are talking about motivation and how to get motivated and how to stay motivated to accomplish all the goals that we've been talking about. Goals are the foundation of any motivation. Goals is what you're standing on the whole time that you're trying to be motivated to accomplish a lot in your life. And the reason why is because goals are what you've stated that you wanted. This is after a lot of self-reflection. You've already given it thought. You already know what you want out of your life. You've already, put yourself on your deathbed and visualized what it would be like if you didn't do these things, or what things you would have a lot of regret about, or what things, that you're currently doing that you would feel awful about. You've already done that. And you've made the goals, you've determined what's really important to you, and you've listed them, you've actually handwritten them somewhere, or you have a vision board like we've talked about where you've put them on your walls and you see them every day. Those goals are what you're going to hold on to when you're pushing through it being hard. And it is going to be hard. You're going to hit obstacles. I've hit a lot of personal obstacles in my life, and when it happens, the goals are what you're holding on to because they're what you want. They're what makes everything worth it. Motivation is so specific to the person, and I think that's why it's difficult to kind of understand and get a handle on. One of the things that I find from person to person, especially when I'm coaching them, is how important personality plays into that. And some people by nature are just more optimistic, they have more willpower, they're highly motivated and ambitious, and others aren't. And it's just the way they're born, it's in their DNA, and they kind of struggle with that throughout their whole life. Not that they can't overcome it, because they can, and there's tools and techniques, and they can learn through experience and doing, but they just have to work harder at it. And then there's other people where it just comes naturally. Second thing is perception. My perception at a situation can be different today than it is a year from today. And normally something happens, there's a catalyst that makes you think differently or look differently at what you're going through. And we've all experienced this. Like you're sick of your husband and everything they do is annoying you. And then they get really ill and you realize, oh my gosh, I could lose this person. And then you realize how much you love them, and your whole perception changes, and you start to act differently towards that person. So thinking about our perception can really be beneficial here when trying to stay motivated with our goals or when looking at our company, because we might just be looking at it from a negative bent. The main part for me in staying motivated has been incorporating that one line item in the goal sheet that I put. Even after all the research, I never really saw that line item before, but I just kind of stumbled upon it because things, were so hard for me. And when you're in the daily grind of life, you get up and you do dishes and you do this, and then we work 9 to 5, and then you come home and then you get up and you do it all over again. It really starts to feel like you're in a rut. It starts to feel icky and bad, and I added that passion line in my goal sheet, and it changed everything for me because I just felt like there was something that I had to look forward to, something that I was investing just for me. It didn't matter if my spouse approved, it didn't matter if my kids approved, it didn't matter if my best friend approved. It was something that I really wanted, that I was going to do just for myself, and I was going to do it that year. And it was something big, like what is something I really want to do? I want to go rock climbing this year. I mean, that's actually on my goal sheet this year because I've never done it, and it's exciting to me. It's not like, okay, this year I'm gonna go to the mall and buy a pair of jeans. It's not something standard like that. It's something kind of not crazy, but pushing it a little bit outside of the box, outside of your comfort zone. Something that when you do it, you're gonna be like, yeah, I can't believe I did it. Because the more you do, the more obstacles that you overcome, the more goals that you hit, the more schedules that you stick to, the more of all of this that we've been talking about that you handle well, the more confidence that you're going to get in yourself. And then what's going to happen is you're going to do even more. So it's like this big spiral up that starts with the first step. It starts with 2016. It starts with you sticking with it and say, I'm going to be committed. I'm going to be committed for 1 year. I'm going to do this for 1 year, no matter what anybody else says. I'm going to do this for a year. I'm going to stay committed. These are my goals, and this is my passion line. And I'm not going to let anybody talk me out of it. I'm not going to say I don't have enough money. I'm not going to say I don't have enough time. I'm not going to give an excuse for it. There's going to be one thing, at least one, that I'm going to do as a reward for myself this year, my passion line item on my goal sheet. And that is going to motivate you. It's going to encourage you. It's going to breathe a breath of fresh air into your life. Goals are the carrots that you dangle in front of yourself your whole year. So I liken it to the horse race or the dog races. You know, when you go to these events, they're running and they're lapping and it's hard and they're competing and they're all sweaty and they're exhausted, but they're still chasing that bunny. They're still chasing that carrot that is, you know, going ahead of them to the finish line because they want it so badly. And that's how your goals are. That's what they should be to you. Or you need to redo your goals. Your goals should be so wonderful, so motivating, so inspiring and encouraging, so spot on to who you are and what you want that it pushes you through the laps that you're going to go through to get there. Because it's fun. It's fun to sit around and think about goals. It's fun to write them out. It's fun to sit and daydream about them. But the reality is that there's going to be a lot of work involved this year. And I hope to walk you through it and journey it alongside you, you know, growing myself and you growing you and us, you know, getting together and chatting about it, because there's a lot of work involved in actually making them come to reality. And when you're going through that, when it's getting hard, when you're discouraged or you made a mistake or maybe a big mistake, you need to be able to look at your goals and look at your goal board and say, I want that so badly that I'm willing to do this. A personal example of mine is I really want to tone myself this year. You know, I want to lift weights, train for that half marathon, and I really want to get back in shape. I've let things slide and I want to get back to it. So on my vision board, I have this picture of this girl who's got great, you know, six-pack abs, and she looks terrific and amazing. And I put a picture of her up on my goal board, and I'm like, okay, that is a visual representation of what I want to be. But then I don't stop there. I actually picture in my head what it would feel like to look like that, what it would feel like to have the amount of energy I would have, you know, if I lost 10 pounds, what it would feel like to be able to wear all the clothes in my closet, not just some of them, you know, what it would feel like to be at that weight and with that physique. And I actually put myself in there and I get emotional to it. You know, I think about it, I feel it, I can smell it, I can hear it. I engage all of my senses into what that goal will be like. So it's very personal to me. It's like it's right there and I can almost taste it. So then when the year comes and I'm having to get up at 6:30 in the morning, I'm having to walk myself to my gym and I'm having to lift the weights and I'm dying, or I'm running and I feel like my chest is going to explode, that picture, that feeling, that's what I'm hanging on to the entire time that I'm having to push through. That is how I'm staying motivated. That is the motivation factor. There was a study done once about the frontal lobe and people's willpower. Group A of people and Group B of people in these exhausting exercises. And then at the end of time increments, they put them through these exercises, both mental, intellectual, and with willpower, being able to not eat the dessert. What the studies indicate is that you only have so much willpower, and it's only so much every single day. So you wake up and you feel pretty strong, you feel pretty replenished from your night's rest and ready to go. And then what happens is as the day progresses and you get wore down by paying the bills, the emergency phone calls, the work, the kids, the demands of the day wears you down over time, and then it becomes difficult to maintain the willpower. So the conclusion was that willpower is not this source that's unlimited. It's very limited how much willpower every individual has. Once you feel like you're done for the day. You need to stop and be done and then replenish yourself in some way. So either take a relaxing bath, go see a movie, you know, hang out with some friends, get some laughs in. You need to replenish your willpower, because it's not just this cup that you can keep having, you know, you need to be able to reward and replenish. And the people that are able to replenish themselves typically are the marathon runners. You know, they're the ones that can push through it being hard mile after mile after mile, because they're able to self-replenish. A lot of times when people struggle with being motivated, I find that it's because they're not balanced. They've done a really great job at working on business. Work, and then they're just so depleted and so empty. There was no balance. There was no home balance. There was no personal balance. There was no me time involved with that. And they just depleted themselves and became unmotivated, because regardless of how wonderful the goal is, you only have so much oomph. You only have so much to give towards it. You need to make sure that you have balance in your life, that you're also taking time to rest and to play and to reward yourself. Not letting your surroundings impact you can be a difficult thing to learn, and it normally comes through confidence, experience, and succeeding at what you're trying to do. And with those things, you start to learn that you're creating this life that you love. And because you love it, it does change you. It changes the way you act. It changes the way your perception is with other people. And one of the things that change is you become happy no matter what is going on around you. This last year, I've been in some situations, you know, with my dad and other things that are really emotionally hard for me. But I've realized, looking at myself kind of in a surprised way, that wow, like I feel happy most all the time. And even when I'm in a bad situation, or even when there's a circumstance that particular day that's awful, I still feel happy. I have this general sense of I'm okay now, and I know where I'm going, and I feel confident that I'm going to get there, and I know it's the right place for me. And so it's just a really good place to be if you can push through all of that and get to the other side. I'm really proud of myself for stepping up and facing the, you know, adversity and being able to do them anyway, without getting permission, without making excuses, without justifying it or apologizing for it. That I know who I am, I'm standing up for who I am, and I'm going to go through these steps and I'm going to make it work. Friends I see and the people that I work with, those that are really successful and those that are a little less successful, is the reasons why they're doing it. And the more reasons they have and the more meaningful they are to the person, the more they push through any type of obstacles or any type of struggles that they hit with being motivated. So you have your goals, you know where you're going, you know there's going to be a process to get there. It's going to get bumpy, it's going to get hard, and you need to stay motivated throughout the course of it so that you can arrive at your goals. And that's a lot easier said than done, and so you have to have solid reasons behind you. Now with me, when I got sick, I realized I just wasn't the person that I wanted to be. I just wasn't. I knew I could do better. I'm like, Tracy, you could do so much better than this. And I got super motivated, and I lost all fear of going for it. And I think fear holds people back, and we need to have like a whole fear video series, because I think it's the #1 obstacle that people hit. But you have to have really strong reasons, and I had mine. You know, my health crisis created my list like that, because I just knew in an instant what I wanted, what I wasn't doing, what I wasn't becoming. I was settling for a lot less than I was able to achieve. And I was really upset about that. So it's not only good things. It's not only like I'm going to have a Jeep and I'm going to have that mountain cabin in North Carolina. It's not just the positive things, which are awesome, but it's also the painful things that can sometimes spur you to create the most change. And the more reasons you have, the better off you are. So I would like for you to sit down and write 100 reasons why you're going to hit these goals that we've been talking about this week. Anytime it gets hard, you're going to pull out that piece of paper and open it up and read it and say, this is why I'm going to remain motivated today. This is why it sucks right now, but I'm going to push through. And you read it and you take the day off and have an ice cream or go to the beach, and then you hit it the next day with those reasons in your mind, fresh motivation, because they're so powerful, so meaningful to you that you couldn't imagine living without them. And for me, medical trauma, that moment with so much motivation for me, I will never go back to that. I will make this work no matter what. No matter I failed 55 times, I'm just going to find another avenue, another venue, another platform, another something, but I'm going to make it work, and I absolutely know it. It's going to take time. It's going to take hard work. I'm going to fail. I've made a million mistakes. I'm going to make a million more, but that means that I'm pushing my limits. That means I'm getting out of my comfort zone. That means that I'm striving for something, and I would much rather be going for it than settling. I'd much rather go for it and fall flat on my face than never have tried at all, because at the end of my life, I want to be able to say, I went for it. I knew who I was, I knew where I wanted to go, and I went for it. And maybe I don't hit 100%, maybe I hit 110%, I don't know, but I know that I'm going for it, and I really want you to go for it too. I hope you have an amazing 2016, an amazing holiday. I love all of you, and I couldn't do it without you. You're my support, you're my network. And until next video in 2016, goodbye.